Listen, everybody wants results. Everybody wants the body, the strength, the confidence. But the question is how many are willing to pay the price? How many are willing to suffer, to sacrifice, to grind when it's not easy, when nobody is watching, when everything inside them is screaming to quit? Most people stop when they're tired. The savage keeps going until it's done. Most people complain when it hurts. The savage smiles, because pain means progress. Most people wait for motivation. The savage works regardless, because discipline is the only fuel you truly need. This isn't about working out when it's convenient. This is about showing up when you're broken, when you're sore, when you're exhausted, when every excuse is begging you to stop. That's the difference. That's what separates average from unstoppable. Keep working. When your muscles burn, keep working. When your lungs scream, keep working. When your mind says quit, tell it to shut up and keep working. Because every rep, every set, every mile is building something deeper than muscle. You're building grit. You're building mental armor. You're building a version of yourself that refuses to lose. There's no secret. There's no shortcut. There's just the grind. There's just the work. And if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for tomorrow. The time is now. The wait is in front of you. The work is waiting. No one can do it for you. No one can hand it to you. You've got to earn it with sweat, with sacrifice, with discipline. No matter how you feel, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how far, you still have to go keep working. Because at the end of the day, the grind will not betray you, the work will not lie, and the results will not fail. Most people quit too soon. Every dream dies in the same place, not because the person didn't want it, not because they weren't capable, but because they quit too soon. Most people give up long before they ever get close to their true potential. They stop when it hurts, when it's uncomfortable, when progress feels too slow. That's why the world is filled with people who almost made it, people who almost transformed their lives, people who almost reached greatness. But you don't get remembered for almost. You don't get results from half effort. You don't build a body, a mind, or a spirit that's unbreakable by quitting when things get tough. Here's the truth. The human body is stronger than most people ever allow themselves to see. The problem isn't the body. It's the mind that throws in the towel too early. Your legs can run farther. Your arms can lift heavier. Your lungs can push harder. But the average person never finds out, because the second it burns, they stop. The second it gets hard, they quit. The second the voice in their head whispers enough, they obey. Quitting too soon is a disease, and it infects every part of life. You stop one workout early, and soon you stop chasing your diet. You stop chasing your diet, and soon you stop chasing your goals. And before long, your whole life becomes a graveyard of unfinished attempts. That's what quitting does. It doesn't just kill your workout, it kills your momentum, your belief, your identity. But here's the savage truth. You're always closer than you think. That last rep that feels impossible. That's where the growth is hiding. That final mile that feels unbearable. That's where the transformation begins. The point where you feel like quitting is the exact place where the average walk away and the savage rise. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack persistence. They don't keep showing up long enough to see the fruits of their labor. They want the shortcut, the quick fix, the fast track. But greatness doesn't operate on your timeline. The grind works on its own schedule, and only the relentless earn its rewards. Think about the seasons. A farmer doesn't plant seeds today and expect crops tomorrow. He works, he waits, he endures storms, and he refuses to quit because he knows growth takes time. Your fitness journey is no different. You can't lift for a week and expect a transformation. You can't run for a month and expect to be unshakable. You have to stay in the game long after most people have quit. That's how you win. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you're rewriting your story. You're proving to yourself that you're not like the majority. You're proving that you're built different. You're building an identity that says, I keep going, I don't stop, I finish what I start, that identity becomes unshakable, and it bleeds into everything you do in life. So when the thought of quitting creeps in, and it will remind yourself, this is the test, this is the moment that decides who I am. Anyone can start strong, anyone can show up on day one, but only the relentless finish strong when everything in them wants to stop. Don't be like most people, don't quit too soon, push past the breaking point, and you'll discover it wasn't the breaking point at all, it was the doorway to strength, discipline, and greatness. Remember this, the pain of pushing through lasts minutes, but the pain of quitting lasts a lifetime. Discipline over motivation, motivation is fragile. It's a spark, not a flame. It feels good in the moment, but it dies, the second life gets heavy. You felt it before that rush when you watch a video, hear a speech, or make a plan. For a moment, you feel unstoppable. You tell yourself, this time I'll stick with it. But then the alarm clock rings early, the soreness kicks in, the weather is cold, the day feels long. And suddenly that motivation is gone. That's why most people never change. They rely on motivation like it's a permanent source of fuel, when in reality it's just a temporary high. The ones who win don't depend on motivation. They build discipline, and discipline is unshakable. Discipline means you show up whether you feel like it or not. Discipline means you train when you're tired, when you're busy, when you're uninspired. Discipline means you put in the work not because you're in the mood, but because it's who you are. Think about this. The best athletes, the strongest warriors, the most unbreakable people in the world aren't motivated every day. They're human just like you. They wake up tired. They doubt themselves. They fight laziness. But here's the difference: they don't negotiate with their feelings. They let discipline make the decision, not emotion. Motivation says, do it if you feel good. Discipline says, do it regardless. And that's why discipline will carry you farther than motivation ever could. Motivation is about emotion. Discipline is about identity. Motivation asks, do I want to? Discipline declares, this is who I am. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people start a workout program. The first is hyped up, motivated, excited. They crush the first week, maybe even the second. But by week 3, the excitement fades. They're sore, tired, busy, and eventually they stop showing up. Why? Because they were relying on motivation, and motivation ran out. Now look at the second person. They weren't as excited in the beginning. They didn't rely on hype. They relied on discipline. They made a decision. This is not something I try. This is something I do, no matter what. So they show up day after day, not because they feel amazing, but because they refuse to betray their discipline. 6 months later, who has transformed? Not the one who started with hype, but the one who stayed consistent. Discipline is a muscle, and every time you exercise it, it gets stronger. The first time you push yourself to train when you don't feel like it, it's hard. The second time, it's still hard, but slightly easier. Eventually, it becomes automatic. You no longer debate with yourself about whether you're going to work out, because discipline has made the decision for you. That's freedom. When you stop negotiating with laziness, excuses, and emotions, you free yourself from the prison of inconsistency. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't wait for inspiration. You just work, and that's where progress lives. Here's the harsh truth. If you only work when you feel motivated, you'll never go far. But if you work through discipline, there's no limit to how far you can go. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care about the weather. It doesn't care if you're tired. Discipline only cares about results. Motivation is for the short term. Discipline is forever. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going when motivation dies. Motivation is optional. Discipline is mandatory. So if you want to change your body, your mind, your life, stop asking for more motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect moment when you feel like it. Build discipline. Decide once and for all that this is who you are. Someone who works, someone who shows up, someone who refuses to quit. At the end of the day, motivation might start the fire, but only discipline will keep it burning. And if you want to see real results, if you want to become unbreakable, if you want to live at your highest level, then you must learn to lean on discipline. Pain means progress. Most people run from pain. They treat it like the enemy. The second they feel discomfort, they back off. The second the muscles burn, they drop the weight. The second the lungs scream, they slow down. But here's the savage truth: pain is not the enemy. Pain is the doorway. Pain is the teacher. Pain is the signal that you're moving beyond comfort and into growth. Nothing worth having has ever been built without pain. Every champion, every warrior, every person who transformed their body and their life has one thing in common: they went through pain and didn't let it stop them. The burn, the ache, the sweat, the exhaustion, that's the price of progress. You don't build strength sitting in comfort. You don't build power avoiding resistance. You don't build character by running from hardship. Think about your own body. How does muscle grow? By tearing and repairing. You literally break the fibers apart with resistance, and your body rebuilds them stronger. The pain you feel in the gym isn't punishment, it's construction. It's the sound of your body evolving. That soreness the next day, that's proof you showed up and forced change. Without it, you'd stay exactly the same. Too many people confuse pain with weakness. They think pain means they're failing, but pain isn't weakness. Quitting because of pain is weakness. Pain means you're pushing yourself past your old limits. Pain means you're stepping into new territory. Pain means you're alive, fighting, refusing to stay average. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is how they handle pain. The ordinary retreat. They say, "This hurts, I can't take it." The extraordinary lean in and say, "This hurts, so I must be on the right path." The pain becomes their compass, guiding them toward growth. Pain is not permanent. It feels endless in the moment, but it fades. What lasts is the strength it built in you. You'll forget the soreness, you'll forget the struggle, but you'll carry the power, the resilience, the pride forever. On the other hand, if you avoid pain, you stay weak, you stay stuck, you stay wishing you had the courage to endure what could have made you unstoppable. And let's be clear, I'm not just talking about physical pain. I'm talking about the mental and emotional battles too. Waking up early when you're exhausted, that's pain. Pushing through when no one claps for you, that's pain. Saying no to comfort food when cravings scream, that's pain. But every time you embrace it, you grow stronger. You prove to yourself that you're in control, not your impulses. You've got to rewire your mind. Stop fearing pain. Start respecting it. Start welcoming it. The discomfort is your ally. When your legs shake, when your chest burns, when your arms fail, smile, because you're in the exact place where change is happening. Comfort zones don't transform you. Pain zones do. The people who live weak lives aren't cursed. They're just addicted to comfort. They've built their entire existence around avoiding anything hard, and because of that, they never taste real strength, real pride, or real transformation. Don't let that be you. Don't run from the very thing that will build you. So next time you feel the burn, don't stop. Next time you feel sore, don't skip. Next time you hear that voice in your head whisper, "Quit," answer back, "This pain is progress. This pain is proof." Because every ounce of pain you endure today is an investment in the strength you'll own tomorrow. Every drop of sweat is a deposit into the bank of greatness, and the more you're willing to suffer now, the more unstoppable you'll become later. Never forget this: comfort is the enemy of growth. Pain is the ally of greatness. Learn to love it, embrace it, and hunt it down. Keep working when it hurts. The truth is this: everyone can work when it feels good. Everyone can show up when they're fresh, rested, and full of energy. But champions, warriors, the ones who separate themselves from the rest, they keep working when it hurts. They don't stop when the pain shows up. They don't slow down when the body screams. They push through the fire, and that's what makes them unbreakable. Pain is the universal test. It doesn't care who you are, where you're from, or what you've been through. At some point, life and training will break you down, your lungs will burn, your muscles will fail, your energy will drain, and in that moment, the question isn't, do you feel like working? The question is, will you keep going anyway? That's where the separation happens. Ordinary people stop. Extraordinary people continue. Ordinary people let pain dictate their actions. Extraordinary people let their purpose dictate their actions. When it hurts, most people retreat. But the strong, they dig deeper. They refuse to let pain be the referee. They decide the game doesn't end until they say so. Think of your hardest workout. Think of the set where your arms were trembling, where every rep felt like fire. That's the breaking point. That's where most people give in. But if you push just one more rep, just one more sprint, just one more round, you've already separated yourself. You've proven that your will is stronger than your pain. Working when it hurts isn't just about building muscle, it's about building identity. Every time you keep working through pain, you etch into your soul the truth that you are not fragile, you are not weak. You are not ordinary. You are someone who refuses to fold when things get hard. That mindset carries beyond the gym. When life punches you in the gut, and you'll know how to keep moving. Understand this. Pain is temporary, but quitting makes it permanent. That workout pain, it fades, the soreness passes, the burn dies out, but quitting, that lingers, that regret echoes, that weakness becomes a habit. So when you're at that breaking point, remember you're not just fighting for the workout. You're fighting for your future self. Do you want to look back with pride, or do you want to look back with shame? Keeping working when it hurts means you silence the voice of comfort. You ignore the whispers that say, take it easy, rest now, stop. Instead, you answer back, not yet, I'm not done, I'll stop when I'm finished, not when I'm tired. Every champion has mastered this. Every fighter, every athlete, every person who's built something extraordinary has faced moments of pain where their body begged them to quit. And they kept going. That's the difference. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's grit in the face of pain. When you train yourself to keep working when it hurts, you unlock a new version of yourself. You start realizing you can endure more than you thought possible. You stop fearing exhaustion because you know you've survived it before. You stop fearing failure because you know pain doesn't break you, it makes you. The next time you're training and your body screams to stop, smile, because that's your opportunity, that's the doorway into growth, that's the chance to separate yourself from every quitter who gave up at that exact moment. Push through it. Show yourself that you can do one more, and then another, and then another. Remember, anybody can work when it's easy, but greatness is built by those who keep working when it hurts. That's the battlefield where legends are forged. That's where the weak are filtered out and the strong are revealed. So don't just work when it's comfortable. Don't just work when it feels good. Keep working when it hurts. That's the only way to find out how powerful you truly are. The grind will not betray you in a world full of shortcuts, quick fixes, and easy outs. There's one thing you can always count on: the grind will never betray you. People will let you down, motivation will fade, circumstances will change, but the grind, the daily discipline of showing up and doing the work, will always deliver what you put into it. You can lie to yourself, you can lie to others, but you can't lie to the grind. It knows exactly what you've invested. If you've cut corners, it will show. If you've been inconsistent, it will show. If you've been half-hearted, it will show. But if you've been relentless, if you've poured your sweat, your time, your sacrifice into it, the grind will repay you. Every single time. That's the beauty of the grind. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care about your feelings. The grind is fair. The grind is honest. It gives back exactly what you put in, no more, no less. That means if you want greatness, you can't fake it. You can't pretend. You can't wish your way there. You've got to earn it with sweat and persistence. Too many people want the results but not the grind. They want the body but not the early mornings. They want the strength but not the pain. They want the glory but not the work. That's why they never win. Because the grind doesn't reward wishes, it rewards effort. Every rep you put in is a deposit. Every mile you run is an investment. Every ounce of discipline you exercise is a seed planted. The grind is like a bank it doesn't forget. It adds up every single effort, and one day it pays you back with strength, confidence, discipline, and pride. The problem is, most people stop depositing before the interest kicks in. They want instant results, but the grind doesn't pay out to the impatient. It rewards the consistent. The grind will not betray you, but you must trust it. You won't see results overnight. You won't see strength built in a week. You won't see transformation in a month. But if you stay consistent, if you keep investing, if you keep grinding, one day, you'll wake up and realize you've become unrecognizable. The body has changed, the mind has toughened, the spirit has hardened, and it all came because you trusted the grind when nothing seemed to be happening. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. There are no hacks. There are no shortcuts. You can't cheat the grind, and the beautiful thing is, you don't need to. Because the grind works every time. If you do, it's undefeated. No matter who you are, where you start, or how many times you've failed before, if you commit to the grind, you will grow. The grind is the great equalizer. You don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the fastest. If you outwork everyone, the grind will elevate you. Talent fades if it's not matched with effort. Natural ability means nothing if it's not sharpened with consistency, but relentless work that can beat talent any day. When you step into the gym, when you lace up your shoes, when you push yourself through the pain, you're building a contract with the grind. And unlike people, unlike emotions, unlike luck, the grind will always honor its side of the deal. Put in the work, and it will pay you back. Stop working, and it stops paying. Simple. So never doubt it. Never think your effort is wasted. Never think the grind doesn't notice, because while you're sweating, while you're aching, while you're sacrificing, the grind is recording it all. And one day, it will give it all back to you multiplied. That's why the grind will not betray you. It's the most loyal thing you'll ever have in your life. All you have to do is stay committed. Keep working. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. You can talk about it, or you can be about it. You can dream about results, or you can earn them. You can keep making excuses, or you can keep working. The grind doesn't care who you are, where you come from, or how many times you've failed. It only cares about what you're willing to give today, in this moment, right now. And if you show up, if you give everything, if you refuse to quit, the grind will pay you back with strength, discipline, pride, and an unshakable mindset. You don't need luck. You don't need talent. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need relentless effort, day after day, rep after rep, mile after mile. When it hurts, keep working. When you're tired, keep working. When life pushes you down, get up and keep working. Because in the end, the work never lies, the grind never betrays, and the results never fail. So stop waiting, stop doubting, stop hesitating, pick up the weight, step into the pain, embrace the struggle. And whatever happens, no matter how hard it gets,